Alright. Well, I have a lot of gunk in the engine. It's a 2010 Honda CRV. The oil was very low. I had to add a little bit of oil, and actually there was like a quart and a half. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna kind of like clean the inside of the engine, and I have a product for that. I ended up buying this product. This is from BG. It's basically a dynamic engine cleaner, and you have the rinse oil. It comes with an engine with an oil additive. They call it the MOA, and it comes with the Platinum 44K. This is a fuel system cleaner. Um, I'm just gonna go through the whole process. I figure I'll just record it and show you I do it. Alright, so what you gotta do is you gotta open up your. By the way, you gotta fill up your tank first. So make sure you fill up the tank in the gas station. Then you come to the funnel in. You take the 44K, the fuel system cleaner. Open it, and this one is already open. And you just pour the liquid in there. And you just pour it until everything is done. See, like it's almost like just dripping a little bit, but this one should be done now. So now once you do that, you can remove this and close the gas cap. So the good thing is that this product comes with instructions. So it basically tells you to install the 44K first into the gas tank, and then you bring the engine to operating temperature. That's what we're gonna do next. And after that, we're going to drain the engine oil and remove the filter, and we're going to install a new filter, and then we're going to add the correct amount of engine cleaner. Now for this Honda, I marked it as 4.4 quarts of oil that I need, so therefore I'm going to add 4.4 quarts of the engine cleaner. And how am I going to do that? I have a quart of old engine oil that I had sitting around. So I threw this out. Obviously, this is for a different vehicle, 5W30, so it's not for this vehicle. So I just took the oil, threw it out, whatever I had in there, and I'm gonna be using this as my measuring cup. So I'm gonna put 4.25 of the cleaner. I'm gonna pour it in here, and I'm just gonna put it in the engine. And not 4.25, but 4.4 quarts of the engine cleaner is gonna go into the engine. Make sure your car is basically more or less horizontal or on a horizontal ground. If not, you kind of like you can either adjust it by raising it with a jack and try to make it level, or if not, just try to make sure that you park it at a place that is more relatively level. Well, here I am in the car. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the car on and make sure that I watch the monitor, make sure that the engine temperature goes up to operating temperature, and that's when we can start the whole process. So first we turn on the ignition, turn the car on, so engine's on, and as you can tell, let's focus this. There you go. So it's not to operating temperature, but you know it's a little bit warm. So I'm gonna wait until it basically reaches somewhere around this area where it's operating temperature, and once it reaches that, we start the whole process. Car is at operating temperature, so now shut it off. Now we gotta get under the car and drain the oil. All right, so this is the front of the car. I'm gonna go under and get to the drain plug, which if you notice, that's the filter right there, the oil filter. So right next to it, this is the oil plug, the drain plug, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove it. Now I loosened it already, and what we gotta do is just try to remove this. Let me see if I can do it. Here we go. almost there. Oh, great. Alright, so just let it drain. And once it completely drains, come back and show you what we have. And to save time, since this is still draining, I'm going to try to remove the the oil filter. So yeah, I loosened it up already. With it, there you go. Let it drain a little bit. Alright, so now keep going. So, this is where it landed. So now it's gonna let everything drain. While it's draining, new engine filter. This is a new one. I wanna basically install it, and this is basically done. So I'm just gonna put the drain plug back on, and I'm gonna put a new filter. I guess you don't have to see how it's put, but make sure that when you install the new filter, you do it hand tight. Don't go crazy and tighten it too much. And now that we have a new drain plug and new filter, now I gotta add the cleaner in here. So again, this oil 1 quart container, and I'm gonna be adding the engine cleaner, and I'm gonna use 4 of this 1 quart containers, and I'll probably add I'll figure out how to measure 0.4 of a quart, which will be somewhere around that 12 mark. So let's see what we do with it, and then I'll use a dipstick just to make sure it's level to the right amount of fluid in there. If not, I'll just add a little more, or let's see what happens. Alright, here's go number 1. It looks basically just like oil, and it feels slightly more fluid than oil. Now this brings 6 quarts of fluid. This is my 0.4. I put it about 12, the mark of 12 there on the ounces side. I'm gonna pour that in, and we're gonna check the dipstick, make sure it's level. So once you're done with the pouring the fluid in, now we're gonna go to step number 6. It says allow the engine to run in neutral for 3,000 RPM. Yes, for gasoline engine, that's what we have here. So that's what I'm gonna do next. We're gonna let it run for at 3,000 RPM and for 45 minutes. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have the emergency brake on. So the way you do that is right at the left hand side your foot is this lever here. See, it says push on, push off. It's all the way in already. So that's you gotta have that down. And next, I'm gonna turn on the car. And remember, it's 45 minutes at 3,000 RPM. Oops, there we go. And 3,000 RPM. Great. Let me see if it focuses. Alright, so you see that number, that big number 3 there? That's 3,000 RPM right there. So make sure that when you're pressing the gas, you keep it at about 3,000 RPM. You don't have to be exact, but just be very near that. And just put your car on neutral. So I hit the brake, put it on neutral, and let go of it slowly. Just make sure that it's not moving or anything. If it is, you just put it on park. I think it doesn't make a difference. And then you want this gas to go at 3,000 RPM. Let's see if I can get this to focus again. Alright, so you go up to 3,000. Not about there, and you just hold it there 45 minutes. So start a timer, and once we reach 45 minutes, we'll come back to this. If not, the other way you can do it is you can place maybe a wooden stick or something on the gas if you want. Just make sure that you have your car in park instead of neutral, because I don't trust the car being on neutral if you don't have good emergency brake. But in my case, I made sure that my emergency brake works pretty well. So I'll see you back once we're done with this. It's been 30 minutes running. What you want to do is you want to constantly monitor that there's no oil draining from the bottom. Make sure that the temperature of the car remains normal. Let me see if I can focus on this. There you go. The temperature remains normal. Again, it's at 3,000 RPM. I put some bricks here to help me, because I don't want to sit inside this car for 45 minutes just holding down the gas. But so far 30 minutes has passed by. Everything looks normal. I listen for sounds to see if I hear anything abnormal, like a banging sound in the engine. So everything sounds good. No oil draining out of anywhere, like on the bottom. So that's a good sign. So things like that, you want to be monitoring this. Maybe every 10 minutes you come through just to check on it, or have somebody check for you. But so far so good. I'll come back when I reach 45 minutes. So the next step is that we're immediately going to drain the cleaner, and then we're going to remove the oil filter. So we got to do those things right after we turn off the car. So that means that the fluid is going to be very, very, very hot. So you got to be careful. So because of that, I'm not gonna record that part of it. I'm just gonna remove it pretty quickly, because I need both hands to make sure that I don't burn myself. But all you have to do is basically take the drain plug and drain the fluid out, and then change the oil filter. And then what we're gonna do next, right after that, is install a new oil filter, and then we're gonna add the rinse oil that comes with the engine cleaner. So I'll show you that in a moment. 45 minutes pass, so I'll turn off the engine. And now that we turn off the engine, we got to drain the cleaner and remove the oil filter. So that's what I'm going to do next. Again, I'm not going to be able to record it because The liquid is very hot, and I don't want to burn myself just doing it with one hand and the camera on the other side. So, but it's just the same process as just removing the oil. So I'll come back to you once I'm pouring in the rinser. Look how hot this is. It's like, it's basically smoking. So that's basically the reason why you have to be very careful when you do this. You can see the liquid is very dark, just like the oil earlier. So just be very careful when you're removing the drain plug in this case. So this is how the fluid looks when it comes out. It's very dark. So hopefully that includes a lot of the gunk that was in there. So now let's get to the engine, and I'm gonna be pouring in the rinsing oil. So this is the same exact thing I did before. I'm gonna put in the 4.4 quarts of the rinsing oil, and if you have a different vehicle, just make sure you know how much oil it takes, how many quarts of oil, and then the rinser is the same amount. So there's 1 quart in. And again, remember I replaced the oil filter already, and I put the drain plug back on. So because you have to replace the oil filter after every drain. So I'm not gonna bore you with this. Just gonna do this. I'm gonna do 4 quarts. So this is my first quart of the rinser, and again I'm using the 1 quart of container of the oil container that I had. That helps me measure the amount of quarts that I'm putting in. Well, this is gonna be the last one. I already put 4 quarts. It's gonna be 0.4 quarts that I'm putting in now. This liquid feels almost like soapy, like it runs almost like soap, like hand soap. Now we're gonna put the oil cap back on. I mean the engine cap back on, the oil. And we're gonna start the engine now. We're gonna run it at 3,000 RPM again for 45 minutes, and I'll get back to you after that. All right, so again, we're about 3,000 RPM. I'm looking at the time, it's about 1:19, so I'm gonna make it to 1:20. So 45 minutes from now, I'll come back, but I'm still gonna monitor the temperature on the engine and make sure there's no leak anywhere, and hopefully no engine light. And I believe I said it was 45 minutes I was gonna run the car for with the rinsing oil, but it's actually 20 minutes. Just in case, and as you can tell, we're actually on step number 10. So we gotta run it on neutral with the cleaner. Since we have a gasoline engine, we're doing 3,000 RPMs, and it's gonna be for 20 minutes. Okay, so 20 minutes. So we don't have to wait that long. Okay, so we're basically reaching the 20-minute mark. We only have a minute to wait, and it looks like the temperature on the car is still normal. Let me see. The engine temperature of the car looks like it's normal. See. So now, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna turn off the car, drain the fluid from the engine, remove the filter, put a new filter, and just basically just put new oil in and top it off. And after that, we're done. We're also gonna add the MOA, which is the oil additive that comes with the kit. So let's do that now. So turn off the car because it already reached 20 minutes. I'm gonna put the car back on park, and let's go and take a look at the fluid that comes out of the car. Alright, so this is how the fluid looks. It basically looks like oil. That's the cleaner coming out of the engine. It's still a little bit hot, but it's not as hot as the other one. It's still throwing smoke. So we're gonna wait until this drains out. I'm gonna remove the oil filter after. While the fluid is still draining, the rinser is still draining, I'm gonna prepare my new oil filter. I take some of the new oil that I'm gonna put in, and this time is, you know, it said 0W20 obviously because that's what this car takes. It's full synthetic, and I usually like to use the Honda genuine. So next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some of this oil on the oil filter ring.